Hi, my name is Jace Valet. If you did not know now, you know your life is different now. Hi, I'm Jace, the community manager here at Coffee Stain Studios, and today we're doing something a little bit different, something new. We're doing a Q&A. On Tuesday, I asked you all on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram if you had any questions, and boy, you did. So let's just jump straight into it and answer them. Let's start off with Facebook, and I'm going to start off strong with a name that I can't pronounce. Sorry about that, but they've asked, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you very much. Next question is from Dylan. Dylan asks, would you be interested in offering placement positions and maybe looking for new eager talent internationally? Yeah, we have been actually. We advertised a programming position here at Coffee Stain like a month or two ago, and we're currently hiring at Coffee Stain North in Stockholm. And I'm pretty sure they're hiring internationally as well. We certainly were at Coffee Stain Studios. So keep your eyes peeled on the social media because I do share it there, but also check the job section on our website, which is coffeestain.se or coffeestainstudios.com. There's a job section, whatever we have going there, look at that. And see what's available. Hagen asks, what's the biggest challenge you face in average day-to-day activities? Do you hit walls? How do you keep yourself moving forwards? You know, I can't speak for everyone here at the company, so I'll just speak for myself. When we work on big games for a long time, it's kind of hard to imagine the goal, the end being in sight. And so the way that I keep myself moving forward is to actually not focus on work so much. Try and just enjoy my life every single day. Make every day fun and enjoyable for me to live. Which also includes me working, and I work at a great place, so I enjoy working here as well. And that's what makes it easy for me, because if I can just enjoy day to day and take it one day at a time, eventually the game gets done, and then we get a big release, and then a lot of shit happens, and it's really fun. So that's kind of how I do that. Camel asks, am I handsome? Well, Camel, you're gonna have to buy me a few more drinks before I can answer that. Next up, Leo asks, can we get Sanctum Simulator instead? Well, if you put Sanctum on a virtual machine on your computer, it's kind of like Sanctum Simulator, so you can do that yourself. Schlumpfgrand asks, many people aren't aware of what the working conditions and business conditions are in Sweden. Would you say it's a nice place to work and a nice place to have a business in? You've got a lot of questions there, Schlumpf, so I'll start with that. Yeah, it's definitely a nice place to work in. You know, I'm Australian, I lived in Australia, I also lived in Japan for a few years, and now I live here in Sweden, and Sweden has been the best place to work, in my opinion. Best work conditions that I've had so far. As for whether or not it's a nice place to have a business in, I don't really know. I don't own a business here, I just work here. But there's an index that rates it, and I think in 2017, Sweden was like 9th or something like that. I'll post the actual number here or whatever. So Schlimp goes on, more specific to Coffee Stain. You have a more serious franchise, Sanctum, as well as a complete batship WTF-esque franchise, Goat Simulator. Did different teams work on those, or did Sanctum devs miss their meds and create Goat Simulator in the process? No, different teams did not work on that. It's the same team. So after Sanctum was done, I think a few games sort of popped up that they were thinking of making. I wasn't there at the time, so I'm not too sure. But a few games came up, and Goat Simulator was one of them, and that sort of kind of just took off, and that was sort of it. But yeah, it's the same. It was the same development team. Honestly, if you look through Sanctum 1 and 2, you can find a lot of silly stuff in there. You know, the humor and the wackiness of this studio was present from the very beginning. That's for sure. And lastly, also it looks like third-party devs worked on the development part of several of your more recent projects, namely A Story About My Uncle, The Westport Independent, Deep Rock Galactic. Are you moving toward a more publisher-only role, or do you still have an actual development team working on games? So those games we did not develop those at all. We only published them. We have, under the Coffee Stain brand, there's Coffee Stain Studios, which is where I am right now. We are a development studio, and there's also Coffee Stain Publishing, which is separate-ish to what we're doing here. They kind of do their own thing. And so they published those games, but those games were completely developed by their own studios. So we had basically no hand in that at all in terms of Coffee Stain Studios, where I am now. Are we moving towards a more publisher-only role? Not at all. That's the publishing side. Coffee Stain Studios is still making games. Ethan asks, any plans to ever bring Goat Simulator iPhone and Android only levels to the PC version? Currently, as far as I can tell, there are no plans to do that. Any plans for a future Goat Simulator DLC or a sequel / another Goat Simulator game? Yes, there's plans for future Goat Simulator content. Lena asks, will you consider working on a brand new fabulous something simulator in the future, or is that off the hook? If we're looking for a game to make and the best game to make is a something simulator, then we'll do it. The cool thing is that we're actually an indie studio. We don't actually have a publisher apart from Coffee Stain Publishing, which is us. So we have the freedom to do whatever we want. If that is the best thing that we deem for us, then we're gonna do it. Adrian asks, when will we see Goat Simulator VR? There are easier ways to induce vomiting, Adrian. You don't need Goat Simulator VR. Sam asks, are we going to get another absolute gem like A Story About My Uncle? That was a great game, and I hope so. And not to say that we haven't. I think the other games that we published have been really good. But yeah, of course, we're always after really, really good games like that. So now let's move over to Instagram. Demir Codes asks, what programming language do you prefer a developer to have when applying for a job at Coffee Stain? C++, I guess. We mostly work in Unreal Engine 4, and the engine is in C++. So if you don't know that, you can't work in the engine. So Definitely C++. Jim Hendricks asks, who is a better colleague, Natalie or Hannah? Come on, Jim, I can't pick a better, like, who's my favorite colleague? I can't do that on video, nonetheless. It's Natalie. Ian Varley, a suspiciously familiar surname, asks, what's up? Not much, cause I'm shooting a video. David Belchin asks, how do you feel about your studio? I feel great about my studio. It's not my studio, but yes, it's nice here. We have a cinema. Now we're moving over to Twitter. Armin Ibrisigic. Ibrahimovic asks, if aliens came to Earth, what would the best response from humanity be? Obviously kill them, Armin, you know this. Young Gunner 360 asks, are the first two letters of your next game's title really SA? What they're referring to right here is an image that I posted on Monday. And the answer to the question is yes, actually. The first two letters are SA. I was just trolling you guys a little bit there, but that is true. And that really is the game that we're working on right now. By the way, some people were asking, why isn't there a Super Sanctum TD in the coffee stain section of this image? The reason is because this is an image taken by one of our testers, and they don't have Super Sanctum TD. That's why they didn't put it there. Or if they do, they didn't put it in that category. It's not like we made that and then cut Super Sanctum TD out. There's no weird, funny business going on there. It's Your Boy asks a great question. How did Sky Autumn get her scars? For those of you who don't know who Sky Autumn is, she is one of the characters from Sanctum 1 and 2, and yeah, she's pretty badass. All right, so I'll read an official part from the character profile for this. So Sky, as a teenager, she stole real guardian equipment and went out on her own to explore the wilds and hunt creatures that live there. While she was told off by her parents and teachers, she still gained respect from her peers when she came back like some action hero with cuts on her face and a huge beast's claw as a trophy that she gladly showed off. TR8 Taurus Studios asks, thoughts on current game industry situation when now 30 games are released on Steam daily? How can new indies adapt to this situation? I'm not an authority on this, and I can't really say too much that is going to be actually correct. All I can say is good luck, friend. But you also go on to say, also, what is your favorite character from Sanctum? Theirs is Sky. Mine is Sweet, Sky's sister, Sweet Autumn, and she's really cool. I like how she's super playful. I love her rocket launcher. I would always play as Sweet. Daniel the Dorito Dragon asks, is it true that you've built a golden statue of a goat in Japan? Sure. Stay-at-home cat that asks, is there someone at your office who is like a super underappreciated kitchen hero who always prepares coffee for the others? And if yes, who? We should have Coffee Gnome Appreciation Days. Yeah, we did/do. There was like a few people at the studio who was like going around doing everything, and a lot of other people who weren't. But that, we talked it out, and now we're trying to get more people to take up a lot of the responsibilities as well, so that it's like everyone in the studio should be doing a little bit and not just a few. So you're right, Coffee Gnome Appreciation Days would be good to have. Better yet, everyone is a coffee gnome. But also we don't actually have to make our own coffee because we have a coffee machine that either serves tasty coffee or breaks. Folger's Coffee asks, coffee or tea? I think the studio answer would be coffee stain. A lot of people here drink coffee, but personally I like to drink tea. We got a few other tea drinkers here too. And then we also have a question here by Pixel, Sanctum 3 ? Sanctum 3 ? Any Sanctum 3 gameplay? Any news on Sanctum 3? Can we have a trailer for Sanctum 3? How far along is Sanctum 3? Yeah, so we get a lot of questions about Sanctum 3. A lot of people just assume we're making it. And I don't think that the image that I shared on Monday helped much. But whether or not we're doing Sanctum 3, I'm actually gonna tell you, we are not making Sanctum 3 right now. Oh no. Please don't hurt me. So obviously we know that everyone wants Sanctum 3. We want Sanctum 3 too. It's honestly a good idea. I couldn't find someone in the office who wouldn't want to make it, honestly. We would like to make it. And we know that you all want it as well. So hopefully one day it happens, right? But basically, we came to a time where we could choose what we wanted to do next. Sanctum 3 was one of the options, and it was a good option. It was one of many options. We brainstormed a lot of different game ideas. And even though Sanctum 3 is a good idea, the game that we're working on now won over Sanctum 3. So we are doing this game because we really believe in it and we're really passionate about it, and we've been working on it really hard for quite a while now. I know that's disappointing to hear for a lot of you, but the future is bright. I think our Sanctum fans will really like the game that we're working on. And in a way, I also don't want to just leave you disappointed like that. The other reason I'm saying all this is because very soon, like really soon, we're gonna be teasing information about what we're doing. So you don't have to wait long for some news. And when we do, I honestly I'm really confident. I'm sure that you will, at the very least, you will think it is satisfactory. And then I also hope that you think it's amazing. So for what it's worth, it may not be what you're expecting, but it is going to be something cool. I'm sure of that. Okay, so that's all the questions for today. I want to thank everyone for asking questions. It was a lot of fun. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and subscribe here on YouTube. All the links to everything is down below in the description. Because as soon as we release any information about what we're working on next, you want to be up to date with it right away, right? So consider doing that so you can get that information as soon as possible. All right, and thank you very much for watching the video today, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye. What did it feel like when you made the decision to announce Sanctum 3 this Friday? Also, how excited do you think the community will be when they learn that consoles will be getting Sanctum 1 and 2 as pre-order bonuses?